The 12 Tools of Christmas. I am Carl. I am also named Carl. And my sobriety day is August 22nd, 2014.
I'm called Lindsay, and my sobriety date is September 6th, 2015.
And this is like SoberPod.
Soberpod.com. Yeah, SoberPod, keep it authentic, no facades. If it's real, then you know it's ours. Welcome.
SoberPod is a podcast dedicated to the idea that one addict or alcoholic helping another is crucial to building a life in recovery. Join us this season as we read from our books, 366 effing days sober, and that's this one I'm going to hold up for the camera. And then, of course, Lindsay's book, Spirit Vigilante. She doesn't have it readily available to hold it for the camera, but you can get both of those books by going to soberpod.com and or thespiritvigilante.com. And I would recommend, because it is like mid-December, these make great stocking stuffers. And then you can make fun of the cussing, like in front of everybody when you open it for my book. And then for Lindsay's book, everybody will go, "Oh, how sweet." I will.
Mine's clean. Mine's pretty clean. Yeah.
Do you have cuss words in your book?
I don't think I have one. And I think I talk about that. Like, I think I say, "That's for you, Mom." The reason I didn't spell out that full word.
So you're like, yeah, I didn't do that. Thank you, Mom.
I've been conditioned. Yeah. I did want to say, though, last year, this was such, my book came out November 11th, 2024. And one of my really good friends, her kids are older in their like 20s and 30s. And she read my book right away. And she said, "I gave each of my kids one of your books in their stockings, like one of their stocking stuffers." And that was just so, I mean, that was so meaningful. She's like, everyone needs to read this. And so it does make all that to say it's a good Christmas gift. It's been validated.
Yeah. Last year, I had given all of these books in my children's stockings. And then my wife came to me and she said, "Honey, I removed all those books from your children's stockings." I'm kidding. That didn't happen. But I think it would be funny if that's what did. I don't want them to know that shit, honey.
Right.
So,
she'd take a red pen to most of it.
Yeah, she'd be like, "No, didn't happen." Yeah, whatever. So what I would recommend is that so you can get these books physically. So maybe there's plenty of time for you to get these books physically. You know, when they're printed on demand, does yours print on demand through Amazon as well?
Yes.
Yeah. So when they're printed on demand, they take basically, no matter where you are in the United States, roughly 2 days to like get to you basically. So once you order, it takes about 2 days. So maybe with the holiday, there might be a little bit more. So depending on where you are and when this actually launches, you may be able to actually get this maybe.
Yeah.
Like,
and if not,
Christmas Eve. Yeah. So,
a New Year's gift, right?
Yeah. And then if
starting
not, then use your
Valentine's
Amazon
Day.
gift cards and you can get Amazon Kindle and get this stuff digitally.
Yes.
Like, right. And if you got a new Kindle, bam, you now have a book that you can love on with your Kindle. So.
Both of them are on Kindle Unlimited, which means if you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription, they are free to you.
Okay, so Merry Christmas, motherfuckers, and go get
you filthy animal.
You filthy fucking animal. Go get your thing. All right. So the title of this episode, let's just get into it, is the 12 Tools of Christmas, and the reason why this came up is because I don't know if I was getting all Christmassy. Actually, I do it every year as I kind of decorate my computer with like the wallpaper backgrounds, and I change the lighting on my LCD. I make it all green and red, and I actually do try to make it more Christmassy in my little environment. I know it's weird. I would have never done that.
It's adorable.
I know, isn't
weird? That's your
Lindsay,
space.
Stop ruining my persona of such a badass, okay?
I said nothing.
You're
I have
like,
not been to your home.
No. Actually, I have Santa on my wallpaper doing the goatsy, right? Like,
now I want like a virtual tour.
No, not at all. Okay, so the reason this came up is because in my early recovery, people would talk about the tools, and I was thinking, I was thinking of the 12 days of Christmas. I was thinking about ideas for this episode, and I was like, oh, we should do like the 12 tools of recovery, because one of the things that happened to me early on, and I don't know if it was that way for you, but it definitely was for me, is that I would sit in meetings and people would be talking, and then they would be like, well, because somebody would be talking about something going on. They're like, I just use the tools and da. And I would just be like, I always wanted to whisper to somebody else next to me, like, what the fuck are the tools? Like, you know what I mean? Like, where are they hiding the tools? Like, is it, you know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? And so I just didn't know what the tools of recovery necessarily were, especially in again, I was just kind of being quiet, and I didn't want to. I want to let anybody know, like, I don't know shit, because if they said it in a group or like outside, like a bunch of group people standing around on the sidewalk, I just nod my head like, oh yeah, the tools, yeah,
of course.
Like, let's do that.
I love those things.
So
don't leave the house without them.
Yeah, I got pockets are full of them. Like, what are you talking about? So I wrote in my book anyway, for October 29th. It's relating to this topic. So yeah, it's not December related, but you get the idea. So I put in here, I get confused when people paraphrase solutions for recovery in a conversation by saying something like, use your tools of recovery. And then they go on talking without really mentioning what those tools actually are. In my early recovery, I was too embarrassed to ask what those things were. Should I know what the tools are? Why doesn't anyone just list this shit out for the rest of us who are still foggy as fuck? So, for added clarity and much less confusion, here's your toolbox for recovery. So then I basically, instead of listing out the tools there, we listed out the 12 tools of recovery for this episode, or your 12 tools for Christmas in this regard. So, Lindsay, kick us off. Where are we going in our 12 tools of recovery? What's the first one?
The first tool is Carl.
Oh, I'm a tool.
I had to do it.
Yeah.
I had to do it. This whole time you're talking about tools in the meetings. It's like, what are the tools? And then I was just thinking of you sitting there in the meeting. No, because I know that you get angry when you don't understand something. So I'm thinking of you in your first meeting, thinking to yourself, like, the only tool in this room is that guy.
Is that motherfucker who didn't explain what the tools were.
But I don't think you're a tool, Carl. I didn't mean it. All right.
I am a tool. Okay, as my friend Ellen used to say, she said that I was a tool, but I was being used by God. Just saying.
Oh, and I'm the one softening your image? You can put me in you can name me as a tool too. All right. Number one, the tool is meetings. So we talk about meetings a lot on this podcast. There's a variety of meetings and resources out there. Carl and I both happen to be in 12-step program. And meetings help me tremendously around the holidays. So holidays and travel, all of the things, because there's so much going on outside of our control, I try to keep routine the things that I can. So anything that can remain unchanged, I do it. So I really make instead of, the thought may be like, oh, I can't go to as many meetings. It's the holidays. I'm more like, I need to go to more. So, and the great thing is that meetings are usually, everyone knows that. I mean, I think one of the busiest meetings I've ever been to at a meeting house that I go to all the time was on Christmas. That's Christmas morning. No, it wasn't Christmas morning. I'm sorry, Christmas Eve. Like, everyone was there at 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve, before they did all of their other stuff. So yeah, meetings are really important. And then you get to talk, no matter if you're a new person and it's your first Christmas coming up and you're nervous, or you've been in the program for years and years and you just need to talk about how you're going to put on your armor before you go see your family, meetings are so important. And you get to bond with those people before going out into the wild and being around people that you might not be able to relate to. Because the more I'm with like family and friends and spaces outside of recovery, and I'm the only one that's not drinking, the more I start to feel like I'm the odd one out. So staying in community and staying in meetings, I'm like, oh, okay, that's right. There are people like, I want to normalize this world, not that world that I don't fit in anymore. So yeah, I think that's all. We all know the benefits of meetings if you're in this program at all. So I guess my tool for using it around the holidays is go as much as possible.
Yeah, I think again, I had family. I had, not only my immediate family, but I have extended family. So meetings were really hard for me to get to around Christmas, because you're so busy, like attending to all this other shit. But the fact is like, I don't know about you, but for me, when I go to a meeting, it is like a reset, like of my brain to say like, oh yeah, this is who you are. Because usually like, I'll go like once a week, right? Go to like, if I go to ACA, like I'm going once on a Friday, and every time I go, without fail, I will sit there and just go like, oh yeah, that's why I'm here, because I am this, like we read from the book for like 5 minutes to start, and I just go like everything in there. I'm like, oh yeah, that's me, like the whole time.
Yeah.
So it really is a reminder of about like, I once heard a speaker say, we say our names like, I didn't at the top of this episode. I said, my name is Carl. The fact is, I really don't like saying that I'm an alcoholic or an addict. I really don't. I still don't. But what it does do is like when I'm in a meeting and I say, I'm Carl, I'm an alcoholic, it reminds me like, who I am, what I am, and where I am. Like, so when I say I am Carl, I'm an alcoholic, it reminds me that like, it just reinforces all of the reasons why I'm in that meeting. So just doing that alone, just showing up and being in a meeting will probably kind of re-engage all that learning that you have in recovery is, so I totally get that. Yeah.
And in that meeting, no matter what roles I play in my life, I am just an alcoholic in that meeting, like everybody else. Forget
you'll
my
hear
career, my
celebrities talk
relationships.
about that stuff. Yeah, they'll say, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
in that meeting, I'm just that dude. I'm another alcoholic."
Lindsay, the alcoholic. But something I want to say about meetings, like and protected spaces. Sometimes people leaving meetings will be like, "All right, now back to the real world," and I'm like, "Oh no, this is my real world." Meetings and places I can connect and be real is more congruent with reality than most other places that I'm in, so like make that your real world, make that your real world and make that then permeate other areas of your life, like you can have a ripple effect where that becomes that spiritual foundation becomes the basis for all areas of your life. Practicing these principles in all of your affairs.
Yeah, exactly. So, so since I can't really make it to meetings a lot, like during the holidays, and I always feel like I'm like too busy to actually go, which I'm sure most people are too. Some people out there be like, Carl, what do you mean you're too busy, you're gonna get drunk or whatever. Like, to you, I say fuck you. To the other people, I say, there's a reason why we have phones, right? And there's a reason. So that would be like number 2.
Bringing us to.
Yeah. So if you can't make it to a meeting and you are too busy, and it does happen, you could be traveling in a car with your relatives and with your family, with wife, husband, or otherwise. The fact is, like, they're not going to like say, hey, like, let's stop so you could go to a fucking meeting. They're not, right? But if you find yourself absolutely needing it, like that's one of the things I do is like I made more efforts during the holidays to connect with people and to actually call, not a text, right? That's like one of the big things for me is like I really need to like talk to somebody and and especially if it's like just somebody, one of my friends in program, not a sponsor, but just one of my friends, and that then I can just check in and just say, hey, how's it going? I was thinking about you or whatever, and just talk normal shit, because with a sponsor sometimes it's a little guarded, right? You don't want to sit there and because you probably have said that same shit over and over again to your sponsor, and you're like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a little
yes,
weirder,
I know exactly.
with friends in recovery, it's like it's a little different because it's like you can just kind of say it how it is sometimes without having to like. Yeah, I don't want to accidentally assign myself homework when I'm talking to my sponsor. Right?
Exactly.
You're like,
I don't want to be that much in the solution.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
I'm good with the problem right now.
But let me just say, like, it really is a thing to be like, to just check in and to make sure that you're like just saying hello. And again, it's just like going to a meeting, but now you put yourself in that headspace again. You're like, okay, this is who I am. This is why I have this phone list, is because I just want to talk to these people. I mean, and so that works whether you're just irritable, pissed off, or just having a difficult time with somebody else, etc. Like, it just works if like you're just fucking tired on a trip, just pissed off because you have to be in the car or whatever. Right. So, but it also works like if you definitely are thinking about drinking, if it's something that has hit your brain, and especially around the holidays for sure. So,
yeah.
What about you, Lindsay?
For phone list?
Yeah.
Or just in general? Yeah. I guess I should have earlier. I'll make a little amendment. I have a life where I can go to more meetings. I'm not saying that's feasible for everyone. So thank you, Carl, for reminding us of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to take your chickens to a meeting. I get it. They're just out there in the yard. They're still.
They're good. They want me to go to more meetings. I just annoy them and get in their business. They're like, you don't need to do anything for us. Yeah. Okay. Sponsorship. So,
which is number 3 on the list. Yeah.
Number 3 on the list is about your sponsor. And I've told sponsees, especially recently, sometimes they'll call me with the big blow up. And I had someone relapse recently. And if you're only calling your sponsor during like the worst of worst times, it's hard to catch them up on the month before that where you were probably the relapse was starting to get set in motion, and I don't know what's happening in their life.
Can I just stop right here and just say, please, for my sponsees who are listening, listen to what she just said.
Right?
Just FYI out there. Yeah,
and for my sponsor as well, I can't call and say, oh my God, da, 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 if they don't know nothing about my relationship, let's say, up to that point. So it's so much easier to keep them on the loop and like share bits and pieces so that they know your life and know the context instead of having to start from scratch. And even when things are good, sometimes I call my sponsor and I say, I'm calling because I feel guilty because I haven't called you in a while. Everything's chill, but so sponsorship really helps me, and it really helps me having a sponsee. I met with a new one last week, and she was just talking about a lot of stuff she's going through.
You just got a new sponsee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she called me. I met her like years ago, and she somehow remembered me and thought to call me a few weeks ago and was like, I just knew you were safe. And I was so honored. I'm like, wow. Nice. So we were having dinner last week, and she was just talking about all this stuff that's going on. She goes, but no one wants to hear about my stuff. No one wants to hear me whine and complain. And I'm like, I do. It's my job, because like we all need that person to whine and complain. And I truly mean that, because my sponsors and other people in the program have listened to that. They've listened to me talk about the same thing over and over and over and over, and I think we all need that while being guided towards the solution at the same time. So sponsors are great. Call them when you're feeling good. Call them when you're feeling bad, up, low. Just call them.
Yeah, I check in at least once a week. I think that's my average. And I call whether I like it or not. And
exactly.
And it just, and whether like there's anything going on or whatever, it doesn't matter. Because a lot of times you may not even know it, right? And so you'll be on there just talking about whatever, right? The fucking, the Cowboys losing or whatever the hell it is. And then the next thing you know, you're suddenly talking about, like that thing that came up and you were like, oh shit, I guess I am feeling that.
You're like, wait, there is one. Yeah. Now that I think, there's that one thing.
Yeah, okay. It does happen for sure.
It keeps you honest.
Yeah, yeah. And again, I think it's really important your emphasis of like that person really needs to know what's going on in your life, because somebody needs to be to know your shit to whatever degree that is, and then that person is you're just checking in, and that is super important because you're right. There's no way that like you call that dude 2-3 months down the road, you've been through a ton of shit, and they're not gonna be able to check in. And then again, your emotions when you were going through that, when you were talking, they're going to be able to pick up on like, no, when you first said that, you were really pissed off. Do you remember? Like, and you're like, oh yeah, exactly. I guess I was. So that's still there, like, or whatever, right? So there's like a lot of nuance that happens in there. And sometimes, and I'll just say for myself, the reason why I wrote the book was that, my sponsor, John, who died, he knew everything about me. He knew everything. Like, and I lost that dude that I've been talking to for 8 years. He knew more, and I know this is terrible, but it's not terrible at the same time. He knew more than my wife does. He knew more than anybody else in my entire life because I was completely and utterly honest. And I threw a fit on the phone and cried like a little bitch half the time. And he knew all that shit that nobody else would know. And it's part of why I wrote that book, because I was almost just grieving that amount of loss of somebody who knew my entire story, and I needed somebody to know what was going on with me. It's just and to be able to help me find the solution, as you said, right?
Yeah,
the solution.
absolutely.
So I agree 100%. Number 3 is a good tool, and then brings us into number 4, talking about my sponsor. So he and my first sponsor too, actually every sponsor, that's kind of the worst. Maybe that's why I like all my sponsors. They point me to this solution all the time, which is service, right? And so whether it's like the holidays or whether it's just your life, the truth is that being of service has saved me in the holidays more than I could imagine, especially early on. Like, so when I was and I haven't talked about it this year, but I'll do it now, which is Thanksgiving. My first Thanksgiving was really hard. Again, I was like August, September, October, November, right? And I was 3 months basically, and I just got my first sponsor, and I was like, I hate my fucking family. Right? Like, how do I do this? How do I fucking get up and we always get in fights or arguments. I always destroy something. Nothing goes right. And I go, and how am I? And I feel like I just want to be drunk for this Thanksgiving, right? And he was like, okay, here's what you have to do, basically. And he said, is your wife going to cook dinner? And I go, yeah. She goes, well, you're going to help her prepare. And I was like, she won't let me do that. She won't let me in the kitchen. She absolutely will not let me do that. And he goes, well, it's like, so then he's like, okay, so how about before? And I was like, yeah. And I go, there's nothing going on. He goes, I want you to get up and I want you to make breakfast for your family, right? And I was just like, okay, this is good. Tell me more, right? And so I do. And so I made eggs, and everybody got up kind of like one at a time. And so I was making eggs for probably like an hour and a half or something like this. Make a breakfast for everybody. And he goes, here's your instruction. Make breakfast for everybody. And then when it's all said and done, everything needs to be washed and clean and put away and done so that your wife can then continue to do the Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so great. So I did that. And I'll tell you what, like I did that, and everybody got up as they smelt the eggs and bacon being cooked. Everybody could smell it, and they got up, and then and so and then even my wife had to ask permission to do that. I was like, just let me do that, because just stay out of it, right? Like, because I need to do this, right? And she knew exactly what had happened. She was like, oh, you're being told to do this, right? And
you have homework.
yeah, exactly. So and I did, and I'll tell you what, they all came. And it was the first Thanksgiving in which like everybody was truly happy, and there was like people were smiling and laughing and standing around the kitchen island as I was washing everything and putting everything away after everybody was done eating. I was really saddened because I was like, oh wow, like it took like another human being to tell me what to do in my own home, so that like they could be happy. I could never make my family happy as much as I wanted them to be in that moment, right? I had to take the instructions of another person and then I had to take those actions of that instruction and actually perform it in order to see the fruits of that. Like I would never have that idea on my own, right? And so, and what I learned in that is that being of service to others, right? Serving others literally, and like they're serving them breakfast, it was an expression of my love for them. And then and I wanted to cry the whole time. Like I turned around to put a glass away, and I'd be like, I start to tear up, and I'd be like, oh shit, this is happening, and then it was just so much of an example of being of service and then holding on. So if you can, and I suggest that you find a way to be of service to all of the people in your family, or I don't know if it's your neighbor, maybe you could shovel snow or something. I don't know, whatever it is that you have. Could be an animal for that matter, right? It's like you have, all your animals, right? Like it's like giving them a little extra service around those holidays will help you. And I learned, by the way, if it's a birthday party or if it's a get together like Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever, find one way to be useful. So if you just volunteer to be like, I'll take care of all the wrapping paper and boxes, I'll put all those in the trash, or whatever it is that you do, like if you can find a way to make yourself useful and be of service in that way, things will go better for you. I promise. Right? But just stay focused. Don't get all up in your own shit too. Right. So are you going to say something? Sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of, we always talk about how in early sobriety, we're thinking, what do I do with my hands? What do,
right?
We feel awkward.
Other
because
than
we're
masturbate.
usually doing.
Yeah.
Carl.
Sorry. I just had to go there.
My God. This is a Christmas episode. The birth of
Jingle,
Christ.
okay.
For God's sake. Kidding. We're used to, you can't see me what I'm doing. It's not what Carl said. We're used to doing with our hands is getting more drinks and drinking them.
Yeah.
And so when we don't, I usually bring something fun to an event, like a kombucha or something, or juice. But it's like, what do I do with my hands? I didn't know how to make conversation with people. And so service was really helpful. And just like Carl said, if I was collecting dishes or like taking people's empty plates or starting to do dishes, it just gave me something to do. And I need still today, wherever I am, I have to feel that there's a reason for me being there and that I'm serving a purpose, or else I start looking to outside things to fill me up and show me why I'm there. And I can't rely on that. I need to. So that's such a good idea. And like the other day, it snowed here a little bit. And so the other day I was cleaning off my car, and then I was like, I might as well clean my sister's car off too. And I did that, and I just felt so good. And those things that you don't need to tell anybody about. I just told all of you, but you don't need to tell anybody about.
You don't need to post it on social media either, right?
Yeah.
Like, look at all the good deeds
just
I'm doing
like
over Christmas.
do it. Yeah, just do it. And it makes your day better. It makes their day better. A smile can go a long way, So just being in that service mentality inside and outside of the rooms.
So number 4 was service. Of course, number 5 is
prayer and meditation.
I think this is more your area. I don't think this is my area.
You would probably turn the word meditation into
masturbation. Prayer and masturbation. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
I brought it up. Prayer and meditation. Yeah. So these words, I think, sound a lot scarier than they are, or feel a lot more loaded than they actually are. Because prayer can really just be closing your eyes and thinking, help me in this moment, or how am I going to get through XYZ? Please help me. God help me. And then meditation can be sitting in silence or waiting for the answers to come. We're all kind of have our own relationship with our higher power, and it doesn't need to look one way. There's lots of tools and resources. Just the power of sitting still for 5 minutes and closing your eyes and focusing on your breathing can work wonders. Prayer might look like writing to you. That's kind of how I communicate with myself and my higher power, and just kind of like, I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. But anything that keeps that conscious contact with you and your creator, whoever.
Say it. Go on.
Breaker 19. Yeah. And keeping that contact with your higher power. If you're agnostic, think of your higher self, think of the group, think of the greater good, think of love, but just staying in that place of connection to something bigger, whether that's through prayer, meditation, being in community, asking for help is a form of prayer in my book, which we talked about in the episode last week. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just realizing you don't need to do it alone, and you don't need to be in a meeting to realize that you don't need to do it alone. You can connect with your higher power.
Yeah, I think no matter where you are in your spectrum of higher power, God, whatever, it could be religious, it could be any number of things. The fact is like, I think more or less it's like, I'd like to say that I was atheist, but in my thought life was definitely not. Right. So even when I was drinking, my thought life, I definitely was not. So, yeah, anytime you're having to reach out and do those things, I think I used to, and I still do every once in a while. Like, I'll find like moments where, like, if I'm having some super frustration, I'll go to the bathroom and I will just literally hit my knees in the bathroom. I literally, like, there's times when I'm just like, when I am like completely losing my shit, and I'm like, I'll do it just as that physicalness of that. I'm not a knees on the ground kind of dude. I'm just not. But I shut up, Lindsay. Yeah. When I was trying to just talk normal, you start throwing your dirty little mind.
I didn't say anything.
And for you fuckers out there listening, you too. So anyway, so I'm not a knees on my on the ground kind of guy unless you have enough money, but
unless you're giving me drugs.
but let me just say, there are times when I have done it because I feel like there's just no other way to be, and so I do that, and I just go. It's just that physicalness, that physical action tells me like 100%, like I am out of control here, right? And I need help, right? So I have been to those moments, but then there's the other kind where it's like, you know what? It's just that little thought of like, and I do this all the time, and I've done it ever since like my lung issues. I take a deep breath, and whenever I take a deep breath, I am like, oh yeah, I am praying at that moment. I just take this deep breath and I feel it, and I go, oh yeah. Like there's a different thought that comes in when I do that kind of stuff. So I definitely, so no matter where you're at in your spectrum, take a moment, take 2 minutes, take some time, and of course we could talk about this for a couple hours actually. Like you and I could probably talk about this stuff for a couple hours. But so let me just say, if you can't do that, if you can't seek outside of your thing, then the other thing is, not to be self-promoting or anything, but read a fucking book. Read some other daily meditation, which is number 6. So number 6
look at
is
that.
your daily reading. And so
what about
that? How did that happen? So if you maybe it's like, I don't know, maybe there's like recovery social media. Maybe it's like you go on Twitter, or maybe it's like you go on your Facebook and look for your best, I don't know, SoberPod Live account. Maybe you go and follow Lindsay and like, I don't know, read her stuff. Maybe whatever it is. But at least getting out of your own shit is going to be enough. So if you can't manage to find that connection in your own, then find a reading. I don't know, crack a recovery book, whatever that may be. That could be the big book. That could be the Living Sober. It could be, I don't know, Drop the Rock. It could be whatever it is that you want to get into. Go pick
Spirit
it up.
Vigilante.
Give that. It could be that. I'm just saying, it could be that for only $12.99. How much is your
For
book
only,
now?
I think the softback is $9.99. And then I
Soft
think
bag
the
is
hard
$9.99.
backs.
That's way cheap. Way cheaper than my book.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Oh
I
my
know.
gosh. Yeah.
I
Giving it away.
actually have a section in my book called Morning Mix, and it kind of gives you some ideas to start your day. And in it, I say,
Look at
first,
that.
don't change. Yeah. And I say, like, first, don't change anything. Just see what you naturally do in the morning. I'm all about, like, observing us as is in vitro and in vivo. I'm sorry, I got that backwards. And so go from there. And so I actually have, like, do you grab your pacifier? And then I cross it out and say, I mean, cell phone, you know, because like we just don't realize that that's often the first reach. And so how you set up your day, man, how you spend your day is how you spend your life. And building that foundation is so, so important. And whether it's just 60 seconds of,
And you can start your day over at any time, and I think that's the point, is to say you can reach for any one of those outside readings in order to help kind of ignite your brain. And it's kind of like just a quick way to, another quick tool in order for you to use during these holiday endeavors, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Next up, number 7, Lindsay.
Number 7, I'm so glad that I'm reading this one because this is very important for me, especially around the holidays. HALT, if you're not familiar, HALT stands for hungry, angry, lonely, tired. I add B to the end. B as in boy, B as in bored. So I ask myself, are you hungry, angry, lonely, tired, or bored? And if I'm any of those things, I need to do something about it unless I want that to be reflected in my outer expression in the world. So I know that for example, some events I go to, let's say they start at 7. That doesn't necessarily, and so I go hungry because I'm like, dinner's at 7. Cool. Dinner's not always at 7. Like the event starts at 7, dinner might be at 8:30. And if I haven't had a snack, I'm screwed. And that sounds like a baby, but we're still the same. And I have to ask myself those same questions. Like, am I hungry? Am I tired? Do I need a nap? And especially me, I have bipolar 2 disorder, and routine and structure is very important for me. And I think it's important for all of us, especially as alcoholics. And so kind of finding your rhythm and doing what you can. I got really good advice of like, don't wait until you're completely out of gas at 0% to do something. Wait till you're like 10% and then do it. You always have a little bit in the tank and err on the side of caution. Like, I'm like, I'm not really that hungry yet, but I should eat something before I go. Eat something, you know? I get a little uptight when I'm hungry, and then I'm out of control because I don't know when it's coming. So that's just one example. But then of course, angry, lonely, tired. And guess what? We can fix all of those things with tools. We don't have to sit in anger. We can call someone. We don't have to be lonely. We can go to a meeting. If you're tired, you can go to sleep, you know? So yeah, I like Carl describes it as your early warning system, and they're indicators that need to be followed. And the reason I had bored is because that's a really big one for me, kind of like idle hands make the devil's workshop. And so I kind of have to do something about that too. But how does that show up for you?
Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. So I've always had the issue with the hunger thing. Like I'm like you, like I literally, but my problem is that I will, and I've always had this, I don't eat until it's too late ever. So if you, like you said too, it's like the holiday thing. That's such a really good advice. Like I know that like they said be there at 7. I think I'm going to have dinner at 7. That's bullshit.
Never.
Right? Never. And then I get real cranky when I don't have food, and I don't even notice like how cranky I'm getting. I have no clue. And then my wife discovered it early on in recovery. She was like we would be going outside the house and like going to like some event or whatever, and then she would just say like, "Did you eat?" And I would just be like, "Well, no, of course I didn't." then she'd be like, go get food. Like, no, like we're not, like whatever, grab something now because we're like not gonna do that shit anymore. So she actually discovered that, like, and before, like I would be like so hungover, I guess, or I'd just be so miserable anyway. That's just was my normal state. But when I got sober, it was clear that I was good, and then I wasn't, right? And it was all really kind of relating to a halt. So I was able to check in a little bit better doing that kind of stuff too. So I'm going to go to boundaries, right? Number 8 is boundaries. And it like, it's really hard around the holidays and with family, especially if you have had bad boundary setting. So the thing that I recommend, and I should have done this, which is one, either not go, right? Because it's okay not to go, right? And then the other is to reserve yourself, to make sure that you're holding back and that you give yourself a 2 to 3 second window before you respond to anything. Like, just know going into it, like, you're just going to have to sit and shut the fuck up. Right. And so that was always hard for me, and it still kind of is. Like, I still like, oh yeah, like but go for the bare necessities, plan to go achieve whatever dinner, Christmas wrapping, present, whatever thing, and just bail. Right. It's okay just to be the first one to leave. Don't have any issue with that kind of stuff. That's always been hard for me, is with the boundaries. Yeah.
Big fan of Irish exits. I'm not endorsing that because my family just knows it about me. And they'll all kind of like start slowly wondering that I'm gone. Like, where did Lindsay go? Oh, I guess she left. And the reason I do that, like I said, I'm not recommending or suggesting it, but if you do want to take a page out of my book, the reason I do that is because sometimes I'm leaving earlier than probably is normal. And for some reason, when I'm saying bye, and I think this is just to be nice, whether I'm with friends or family, people are like, oh, you're leaving. I don't want you to leave. Stay a little longer. Are you sure you can't stay for a little longer? And I don't want to have that conversation with like 15 people because I'm like, oh, no, I'm leaving. I mean, we can keep having this conversation, but just give me a hug and say bye because I'm leaving no matter what you say, So that's why I do an Irish exit. But I love that no is a full sentence, and protect your peace. Protect your peace. And so boundaries are kind of, I love that it comes right after halt because I think those go together really well.
Yeah, I also think maybe we should have had number 9 and number 10 reversed. But number 9 is for you is what?
Number 9 is gratitude. And I think around Thanksgiving, Christmas, the holidays, it's very important. It just gives me perspective, and sharing it with people helps. Sharing about it in meetings when I'm feeling that way can be really powerful, because really look how much we do have to be grateful for.
Exactly. Yeah. And I do the same. Like I talk about it in my book. Like, I don't even know. Like probably 100 times. Like I think even today's reading was literally like the challenge is like, if you haven't started a gratitude list, start one now, right? So you can always add to it. And I think that it also, again, most of the time my gratitude is not centered about me, right? It's around like others. Like a lot of the times it is like, it's just like my dog appears on my gratitude list way too many times.
Oh, Charlie.
Charlie, right? So my gratitude list, if I was at somebody else's house during the holidays, would be like, in an hour I get to go home and be with my dog.
Right.
Right. Yeah, it would be just really like that. So I think we said it 1,000 times. But the next one, right, is for me it was really big, and I didn't understand like how big it was until I actually started to fall into those things. Like, we would go to a relative's house. So it's number 10, which is escape plan, right? I would go to a relative's house and I did not have an escape plan. Like you say, like you do the Irish goodbye, whatever it is. Like, I literally didn't say like, we're leaving at 8:00. We would just leave it open. And or if people started to drink, right? Like, I didn't say like, oh, I'm leaving when people start to drink, right? Or anything else like that. Or first fight breaks out, I'm gone. Yeah, talk about Irish families, woo. First fight breaks out, I'm gone, right? So then that's the kind of thing that I never really had before that. I mean, that's also a boundary too, but I just didn't really have that in my head, right? And I didn't have that as part of like my scenarios or what I'm willing to do or not do. So, having an escape plan, I think, is really important. The other thing is, like, I wouldn't go to somebody's place that, like, I didn't drive. Like, I needed to be able to be driving, and so that I could make that decision. It wasn't somebody else's, like, oh, maybe we can stay around another hour. Like, no. I'm the fuck out of here. No. Yeah. So there's things like that were like non-negotiable for me. Christmas parties, work Christmas parties, I made sure I drove, right? So especially
I
with
still
sobriety.
do.
Yeah, exactly, right? So yeah, that's kind of the whole thing. So what about for you?
Yeah, I always have an escape plan. I've talked about it very firmly on this podcast, I think, several times before. I need to know that I can leave at any time, and just having that option gives me the freedom, whereas if I didn't have that option, I'd be anxious about the fact that I didn't have that option and probably want to leave a lot sooner than I do. So yeah, I'm not doing the waiting around for the person who's going to be the DD or whatever and then decides to drink and they're your ride. No, not interested in that. So yeah, I think that's a great one. And then part of having an escape plan is being honest with yourself. And now we are moving to tool 11, which is honesty. And I start with yourself because I think that's very important. I had to start being honest with myself before I could be honest with others because I didn't know what my truth even was. So I had to get really honest with myself and really share and speak my truth. So I think I mean, you're only hurting yourself if you are dishonest with yourself or anybody. And I think we all know what the word honesty means. It means you're not lying. So I think that also just helped me develop trust in my own word. Like, I take my own word and my credibility very seriously. So if I like make a plan with myself and then and say I'm going to stick to something and then change it, then I can't trust my word. So like trusting myself is wrapped up with my honesty and facing myself. And then that just happens naturally in all of my relationships, which I'm so happy to report that I am a reliable, honest person people can trust.
Yeah, I 100%. Like, so I say to people all the time, I did not know what integrity was until I got into recovery. If you would ask me what the definition of integrity was, I wouldn't be able to even tell you. So,
no.
But today, like, when you say that, it totally reminds me of like, it totally reminds me of relapse, right? Because it says to me, it's like, one of the things about, I know if I'm on a path to relapse is the minute I betray myself one time. If I betray myself one time, that's all it really takes. Meaning, like, if I go against my principles and my values and what it means to be who I am, which is I know myself to be that honest, reliable person who has integrity, the minute I betray myself, even in my own mind, if I'm betraying myself.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Then I know I'm on the path to relapse. If I don't interrupt that process, that betrayal of even in my own mind or my own thinking really leads me down that path. And it is just
right.
It's a slippery slope, my friend. So I try to be a person of my word and have integrity, mean what I say what I mean, don't say it mean, even though I do say it mean sometimes.
Yeah.
And then that it can happen, believe me. But yeah, I totally relate to that 100%. Okay. So we don't beat it over the bush. Wait, what? So I don't know. What did I just say?
Beat it.
So we don't. Okay, let's.
Oh God, this is not going to be a good.
Number 12. Number 12.
Just beat it.
Number 12 is to the best tool possible, and of course, which is just take everything one day at a time, one moment at a time. And I think it's easy to have this happen. A lot of big emotions come up around the holidays. A lot of expectations for the way things should be, etc. So try not to, get too lost in the future, get lost in the past, but really try and stay here, right now. Especially the past stuff. I had a hard time over holidays. Like I don't. If you read my book, you'll see like there's like this path that starts on the 23rd and ends on the 26th and some similarity in my reading. It's like Christmas was a hard time for this alcoholic, right? Yeah. So try to remain into today and see where you are today. Remember that, like, this too shall pass, whatever that may be. But really, if you're staying in today, this will be a Christmas that you don't fuck up, Carl. Oh, sorry. I'm talking to myself. This will be a Christmas that, if you stay in today, you won't have to worry about, messing it up, that kind
Program it right in the morning. This is going to be a really good Christmas.
Right?
What's the hurt in that?
You have the opportunity and choice to do that.
You have a choice.
Stay in the moment.
You truly have a choice. I heard this quote recently, and it was coming from a French character in a movie, so it won't sound as beautiful or prophetic, but it was like, you can probably do it better than me. He said, they say that you can live your whole life in a day. And then he says, I had a really good life today. And I just really liked that, because how I said earlier, like, how you spend your days is, of course, how you spend your life. So just make
how you do one thing
beautiful.
Is how you'll do everything.
How you do one thing is how you do everything. Yeah. Absolutely. So those little things aren't so little things.
So try to be in today. Remember, one day at a time. You don't have to drink today, etc. Even if it's like, that dire. Or again, you don't have to be an asshole either, right? Today you don't have to be an asshole. Just
this too shall pass.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Lindsay. So we have accomplished our 12 tools of Christmas and recovery.
Yay.
I guess I don't know if we'll meet again before the end of the year, but if you are listening to this, I don't know if we will or not. But if you are listening to this and we don't, have a happy Christmas and a Merry New Year.
Merry New Year, baby.
Lindsay, do you have anything to say to the wonderful, beautiful people?
Yeah, I'll just say, which aligns with every single one of these 12 tools that we discussed, is trust your truth.
And I say, stay active, stay sober. See ya.
Soberpod.com. Yeah. It was a sight to see them. Breakfast with Sprite and Seagrams. Wrestling with my vices, exercising my demons. My blessings were blocked, so I never got the message. I'm stressing, I'm only 12 steps from an exit. Regret it, because my imperfections were perfected. I ain't run from it, I accept it and rep it. It's a badge to me, good stories come from a tragedy. And when you survive, the glory will come in Act 3. The wait's over, 366 days sober. Morning affirmations that can start the day for you. Use my favorite bookmark for a placeholder. Finish when the day's over. Okay. Yeah, sober pod, keep it authentic, no facades. If it's real, then you know it's ours. Welcome.